I would put this question the other way around. How on earth could the academic community afford not to pay attention to gender equality in research assessment systems? I think it goes without saying that gender equality is part of the overarching aim for research assessment, that is to improve the quality of research and to create a good research culture. And here I think gender equality is absolutely essential.
The latest She Figures publication shows that the European Union has almost reached gender parity among PhD graduates. However, when looking at specific fields of study, the gender differences are very significant. So nowadays, these metrics are flawed and biased against already marginalized groups and do not accurately capture the scientific impact of many individuals and groups. We need to work on designing systems that allow us to advance science by taking into account the principles for justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Good gender balance among staff and students has a positive impact on the working and learning environment, as well as the quality and the different perspectives of the research being performed. And we know that the society is complex and there are complex problems and challenges we need to solve. And therefore, I think that different perspectives and experiences are needed to explore different ways of thinking and also to disclose the more radical solutions that we need to make a sustainable world.
No, I would say no. A short no to that question. Of course, at many universities, for example, in Sweden, we have worked a lot on gender equality, so we have tried to include it or to add it to the process, but there is nothing in the research evaluation system as such that makes gender equality a part of it.
Well, I think CoARA is a perfect tool. So far, the 426 institutions have signed the agreement, which means that the impact of the projects developed there will be very, very significant. Working in the context of the coalition will allow universities to access different tools, networks, and working groups to facilitate decision-making so that less advanced institutions can benefit from the experts. Collaboration among institutions will facilitate progress in the research assessment reform and will allow signatories to work on the basis of common principles. We must be conscious that this is not an overnight change, but a reform that needs to evolve through an iterative process.
I think that the CoARA encourages the recognition of a wider set of academic results and activities. All academic contribution, including engagement in committee work and so on, should be recognized as a basis of academic advancement. And I also think that very many women have gaps in their career due to childbirth and family responsibilities and so on. And that might be difficult. So when CoARA are encouraging us to use different kinds of methods for assessment, I think this could be very positive and could make a focus on research quality more than publication quantity.
We identify possible female candidates before announcing a position. So that's a way to ensure that there will be female applicants. And then when the candidate considered as second best is a woman and the first is a man, which is sometimes the case, then especially with very male-dominated disciplines, we have on several occasions appointed 2 candidates instead of 1, thus getting also a woman. Which has turned out to be really successful. And also now we are right now having a pilot with observers following closely the hiring processes, not least from a gender perspective. And the idea is that they should be able to reveal unconscious biases and also to have a dialogue with our appointment committees. But last but really not least, I think the most important thing is that with open and transparent processes, with clear criteria, women are often they get better evaluations. For example, we have assistant professorships with perhaps a less percentage of female applicants, but they often come out much better. They are much more successful when there are clear criteria and these open and transparent processes. So I think that is really a key to gender equality and to quality.
The Norwegian University of Science and Technology, has a main profile in technology and natural sciences, and these are areas that are traditionally very male-dominated. So we have actually for many years worked very systematically to increase the number of both female academic staff, but also recruiting students, female students for our technological studies. In announcement for positions, we have special announcement. We have search committees that we established, looking especially for female researchers for our open positions. And we also have different kinds of mentoring programs for our female professor who wants to go further for professorships. We have a special program called EDUN, from PhD to professor, which actually are mentoring and helping making career plans for our female researchers. And we also support our staff with starting grant, qualification, scholarships, and so on, in order to really help them to focus on their research activities and to also have less administrative burden in their positions.
The University of Murcia, for example, has recently published the second Gender Equality Plan, which includes numerous measures aimed at promoting and giving visibility to women in research. We are adopting measures to reconcile personal, work, and family life, such as flexible working hours and part-time teleworking. The University of Murcia has also a childcare center for members of the university community. And in that sense, during the last 3 years, the university has been working to align our teaching and research activities with the SDGs in a project called Obsesiones in Spanish.
I especially would like to emphasize the thing about teamwork and making impact as especially areas that I think that CoARA is addressing, and that I think will be very important in the future, not only for making gender equality, but also for making more knowledge into solutions that we really need now. And I think that the universities of Europe are doing so much good research, and I think it's important that all this knowledge that we have are, transformed into sustainable solutions for society that we really need. So I think CoARA is also very, very important in that respect.
It's extremely important to support gender equality, but also to be more inclusive than today, that a research assessment system considers both a diversity of outputs, because there is really a great range of research outputs that is not taken into consideration today. For example, open science practices, data sharing, the general advancement of science, but not only the outputs, but also the practices. For example, mentoring, supervision, doing peer review, taking on leadership roles, etc., etc.
Yes, an advice is to be patient. I think the European Union, our universities, our countries are very conscious about the gender equality measures that we need. I think we will get all the supports that we need in the near future.